All right, so here you go, chapter 9, time and billing. Once again, this is where we're going to be linking specific jobs to specific customers. All right, so here we are. If you're following along with me in the book, you should have time billing QBW open right now. All right, so let's talk about what it means to have these kind of expenses. Okay. So the very first one is going to be understanding how to create or be able to reimburse for expenses. In this case, again, this is one of the things that you need to know when it comes to billing for time or billing for a specific service. So in this case, right, this is called a reimbursement or reimbursable expense because this is where, you've invested your own time and now you're going to get repaid for it, okay, or reimbursed for it. So again, this billable expense can only be available as an other current asset, a cost of goods sold expense, and other expense, okay? Now, here's one thing that you cannot ever do. And it says so in the book. You can never link billable expenses to income, all right? Now, just watch this carefully because there are a few it's a bit confusing when you can use an income account for a billable expense. That's completely different than actually designating an income for a billable expense. Okay? As in, you can't generate revenue off of it. You can only reimburse somebody for it because they had prior already expensed something for the person. Right? So once again, that's what this section is going to be. Well, first off, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at incurring an expense and how you can get reimbursed for it, or et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Now here, first talks about how do you even set up billable expenses. Well, here's what we got to do. We got to go to our, once again, company preferences, and we're going to go time and billing. Okay. So here we are. I'm going to go to edit preferences. And in this case, you may have to scroll down on your little preferences here. You're going to click time and expenses. Okay. It used to say time and billing. Now it's time and expenses. And you're going to go ahead and click on company. All right. Now here it's going to ask you, do you keep track of time? Yes, you do. All right. Here's a few things. Mark all expenses as billable. What does this mean? When you are in a sales form or in a bill, right? You can pass along the bill by tagging a customer / job and pass the bill along to someone else to reimburse for that expense. All right. So that's the key thing here. And I'm going to show you exactly where to locate this on the actual form. But that's only available if you mark all expenses to be billable. Now, if you want to have the option where you can choose whether this is billable or not, then you can have this off. But most cases for this chapter, I want to make sure that I will always have it on. Okay? So then what about invoicing options? Okay, when creating an invoice from a list and for all expenses, that's okay. You don't have to do that. Track reimbursable expenses as income. This is where it gets confusing. How in the world am I supposed to track all reimbursable expenses as income? So as I mentioned before, right, you're not creating an income account for this reimbursable expense. You're using a reimbursable expense as income. So instead of generating money off of it, it's actually going to go straight into reimbursing the expense versus the other way around. Okay. And again, mark all expenses as billable, which we already have from up here. And then default markup percentage. In this case, it says 20%. We'll talk about this in a quick minute. All right. In our very first example here. Or not in the first example, but a couple examples. No, yeah. First example here. And then default markup account. So in this case, this is something you may have to create, which is markup income. Okay, now what does this mean? When you process a charge or when you do an expense for somebody, right? And you want to get it reimbursed. What do you have to do to get it reimbursed? Now, most businesses, right? You're not going to go for, hey, if it costs me $24 to process this paperwork for you, I'm not going to charge you $24. I'm going to charge you $30 because that's my time, my money. That's also my work that I invested for you. So therefore, I want to get paid back for the expense, but on top of that, paid a little more than that for for the convenience of completing the task for you. That's what a markup is. It's where we as a provider incur an expense and we turn around and charge our customers to reimburse us back for that expense. And we do it by marking it up. So in this case, when we're marking up our values, therefore we're creating an income, right? We're generating revenue that's extra because we were given a task and the task was done. However, we want to get reimbursed plus a profit. Okay? So that's what this markup percentage is. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So there you go. Now I set it up my billable expenses. Okay? And let's go ahead and dive right into the book and see what the very first expense is going to be. Okay? All right, so your book may look slightly different. I know it does look slightly different because, again, it is slightly different just because, again, going from one program, they don't necessarily have all the contents there just because they're flipping back and forth between, different versions of QuickBooks. So it may not match the screen on your book. Okay. So once I go ahead and do that and complete that, all right, now we have to go ahead and create a item here that allows us to be able to process the next thing. So now it says, now you're going to have to create and associate each reimbursable expense. So in this case, right, I'm going to go ahead and locate my postage, expense account, and I'm going to have that linked to a reimbursable expense account. So let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. So when you go to my chart of accounts, right, any way you can get to your chart of accounts, and I'm going to locate my postage expenses. So P, postage. I got purchase. Funny. This book doesn't have it. Postage. And it says I don't have to create a new one. I'm supposed to have to edit an account with the window. Okay, let's see. I need to display the account listed postage and delivery. Let me type that in there. Because I don't have it on here. Let's see.
66,500. So if you just type postage, it pops.
Yep, that's what I'm doing right here. There you go, postage and delivery. If I double click on it, it will show me a quick report again. You'd actually have to manually right click it and click edit the account, right? And this is where it's kind of important to know so that every time you use postage and delivery expense, it will automatically associate it that you're going to be linking this as a reimbursable, right? So you're going to click track reimbursable expenses in income accounts. All right. And then you're going to go ahead and click save and close. All right. Then you get this window where it says, please select an account. Okay. Oh, sorry. My bad. And that will be the reimbursable expense income. Okay. So that's what you have to do. You're going to have to link it to a reimbursable expense income account. So once again, so that when I do use this postage and delivery, I'm going to automatically associate it that it's going to be reimbursed, okay? So that's what you have to do. You want to set that up. Now, in this case, it's not necessary to always have to do that for all of your expenses. It's only one that you want to see to have reimbursable, right? In this case, once again, you don't have to necessarily link this. It's optional because I'm going to show you exactly how to use it without having to link every single account to this, okay? But this is what the book tells you, so then for this particular expense, it will become reimbursable. So I go ahead and click save and close, okay? All right, so here it is. There it is, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and close that window. And what's going to happen next is I'm going to go ahead and create my expense first, okay? And how do I do that? All right, I'm going to go ahead and do that by writing a check. All right, so here we go. I have a check written here, all right, and I'm going to write it for February 3rd. Okay, I don't necessarily have to have this check written. I can use print for later, unless you have a designated check number for this particular thing right here. So it says right here that I'm going to go ahead and it should say default. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to be using express delivery services. So here you go, express delivery services. So here, I'm using a third-party vendor to go ahead and ship out stuff. In this case, Miss Maria Cruz used us to send out, or sorry, Miranda's Corner, not Maria. Okay, so again, they used us to do a document delivery. All right. So again, this is going to be using the postage and delivery fees, okay? And it's going to be for the amount of $20. Right? So here you go. And I'm going to go ahead and write Miranda's Corner document delivery. Okay. So here's postage and stuff. Now the amount is going to be $20. Okay. And again, the memo, it could be the same as your memo up here. And again, this is what I'm going to be talking to you about. This section right here, where it says customer/job, and then you see these little tiny icon that says billable. Now in this case, this is where I'm going to type in Miranda's Corner. All right, here you go. Once I've done that, this is what it means to select or have all expenses billable. Because I have it check marked here, that means I'm going to pass this expense along to Miranda's Corner, and Miranda's going to reimburse me for using this and sending a document to her. Okay? So that's why it's very important that you have the billable feature on. This is also available even if you didn't check mark to have it always on there. But if you have selected that, yes, you do customers and jobs, right? It's automatically that you're going to have that billable question mark there. And it has the option where you want to pass the bill along to Miranda or not. Okay? And again, what class is Miranda in? I think she's a Walnut Creek. Let's see. Yes, she is Walnut Creek. Okay. Once this looks good, right? So in this case, I made this expense first, right? I paid express delivery services to go ahead and ship out and send a document to Miranda's Corner. Now I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Close. Okay? So I've incurred the expense. Now what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to turn that expense around, and I'm going to go ahead and bill Miss Miranda's Corner, so then I have that expense that I've incurred reimbursed. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, well, I'm going to write or issue an invoice to Miss Miranda's Corner. The minute I do that, this window pops up saying that, hey, you have some billable expenses going on. All right, so this is the billable / time window, time / cost window. All right, if this window does not pop up when you immediately put in Miranda's Corner, then you didn't check mark it when you created the expense. So that's why it's very important that you do check mark that it is billable. Okay, but if this window once again does not pop up, what you have to do is at the very top of this window right here, you should see a little section that says time and cost. So let's see. It should be at the very top. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Time.
Next to attach file.
Attach file. Yes, add time / cost. Thank you. Okay. That's in case you don't see this pop up, but then most likely you either forgot to click that check mark that it's billable, or two, QuickBooks just is not working for you today. Okay, so again, you need to click on add time / cost, and this window will pop up, and you're going to go ahead and click select the outstanding billable items. You click OK. Now this window, let's take a look at it. You have 4 categories, and we're going to take a look at all 4 today. And these are what you can actually get reimbursed for, right? You could get reimbursed for time, okay? You could get reimburses for expenses. You could get reimbursed for mileage. And last but not least, you could get reimbursed for items, okay? So here, we created a reimbursable expense, right? We incurred that we had a postage and delivery. Now, as you can see here, it's flagged right here saying that you have 1 pending expenses. So if I click on that, right, I see that I have the express delivery services charge for $20. I can go ahead and select that with the check mark here, and this is where it says markup value, okay? So it says 20%, and it's going to go up to the markup value, markup income, right? Because I don't want to just pay $20 and have it reimburse me. That took the time that I had to call the express delivery. I had to schedule the express delivery, and I had to also contact express delivery and then send them a check, right? That's all my efforts just to be able to do that. So in this case, I'm going to have my customer reimburse me based on a 20% markup. So as you look carefully here, the markup is $4. All right. Now here's what's very important. You don't want your customer to see that they're being marked up 20%. You want to kind of hide that feature or that fact from your customer. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down here and you're going to say print selected items as cost as one invoice item. So in this case, it's going to combine the markup and the cost of the delivery charge as one line item, where opposed to having it as a as a line item for the postage and delivery and then a markup line. Okay, so this is very important, but this only views when you print it out. It does not view it when you are looking at it, because when you're looking at it, it's not hidden. It's there. Okay, but it's only when you print out this invoice to your customer, it will hide it from the customer. Okay. Now, in this case, this is a service. Services are not taxed, but for any reason that you want to tax for this item, you can definitely have it taxable. Okay. So once again, everything looks good. Total expenses is $24, right? So total, and you're gonna go ahead and click OK. Okay. Once you've done that, like I mentioned before, right, on our side we will see the markup, but when we print it out, it will not be there. Okay. All right. So there it is. All right. And we're going to charge her for $24, non-taxable, once again, because it's a service item. And there you go. Thank you for your business. And then I'm going to say document delivery. Okay. Once everything looks good, you can save and close. All right. So that was the very first thing that we got to take a look at, was taking a look at a reimbursable expense. Excuse me. Any questions? Okay. Here's one criteria that you must always do in order to have a reimbursable expense. You must incur the expense in the first place in order for you to be able to make it reimbursable, right? You can't just charge your customers whatever it is if you haven't incurred the expense in the first place. Because in that case, right, what's the point of having a reimbursable expense? Because you charge your customers first, and then you basically paid yourself to do the task. That's not what this is, right? In reality, most cases, it's always going to be reimbursable. Okay? You need to incur the expense first in order to get paid back. So yes, it can be kind of, a burden, because you have to use your own money for a company expense. But that's okay. At the end of the day, you're going to get reimbursed for it. So that's exactly like if you have a company car, or they allow you to get reimbursed for gas and mileage. That's the same exact thing here. Or expenses and travel, right? If you're traveling out of the state because you have a business meeting or a conference, right? Unfortunately, you have to, buy your own meals, the plane ticket should be booked by the company, of course, but you have to pay for everything that it is, and then you bill them and you say, hey, reimburse me for this, because it's part of the company's policy, right? If that they can reimburse you for travel mileage. then go ahead and do that. And that's exactly what this is. This does here is it allows you to create the expense and bill it to the company, and have the company either reimburse or have the customer reimburse for that particular expense. Okay, any questions here?
No.
All right. So that's a reimbursable expense. Now, we saw that the tab had four tabs, right? It has a tab for time, it has a tab for expenses, mileage, and items. So that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. All right, we're going to talk about everything that you can reimburse for, or in this case, have it billable for. Okay? So in this case, right, we're going to be talking about how we can be able to use items to also reimburse for those other three categories. All right, and we call these two-sided items. What do two-sided items do? Well, it's straightforward, right? It helps you link expenses and income together in one item, okay? And a great example of a two-sided item is in fact an inventory item, right? It's because that one, right, allows you to link three accounts, right? We saw this in chapter 8 where we linked it to an income account for sales. We linked it to an expense account, which was the cost of goods sold. And in this case, this was a third item or a third account where we linked it to our inventory, which is an asset, right? In this case, we're taking a look at two-sided items, which helps us link our income with our expenses. So basically, the accounting behind the scenes, what it does is it increases the expense at the same time also increasing the income account as well. All right. And what can these two-sided items actually do for the company? All right. Here's the list. Number 1. All right. You can use it to reimburse expenses. We saw an example of that, right? That was the very first thing that we saw here was we used it for reimbursing expenses, but we use accounts instead of items, right? But that's the same essential thing right here. We can create an item to use as a reimbursable expense. The second thing that we could do is we could use it to retail items profitability. Okay, so what this does here is basically if you buy and sell merchandise, right, you could use a two-sided item for both buying and selling the item. So we already looked at that, right? That's what a purchase order does, right? And if you remember, on the side of it has that ability for you to go ahead and process that to someone else. You can use it for custom orders, right? And that's exactly what we're going to show you today, how to create a custom order, right, for a particular customer. And then the last one we have here is subcontracted labor. Okay, so if you use a third-party vendor for a particular service, then yes, you can go ahead and have them reimbursed for their services. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our first example, which is going to be tracking custom orders. Okay, so in this case, we're going to be picking on, once again, Mr. We're going to be looking at custom orders for Mr. Where is he? Let's see. Excuse me. We're going to be creating an item, right? and we're going to link this custom order, and then we're going to build this for, I believe it's Mr. Bob Mason. He's the only one that does this. In this case, it's for someone, okay? But let's go ahead and let's go and create the item first in the first place, so we're able to create the two-sided item so we can make a custom order for our particular customer, okay? So the very first one we have here is going to be creating a custom camera, okay? So let's go ahead and create that item. Excuse me. So we're going to go to items and services, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and create a new item. Okay, I know exactly who we're going to make this custom camera for. It's for Miss Maria Cruz. Okay, so here you go. We're going to create a new inventory part item. That's what the book says, right? In inventory, I think it's non-inventory, excuse me, because we don't sell custom cameras as often, right? It's based on what the customer wants to order from us. So let's double check my book real quick if it's a non-inventory part. Yes, it is. So we're going to click here, and we're going to create a non-inventory part because, once again, custom cameras are not something that we sell all the time. It is based on when a customer wants a custom camera, right? Custom camera. All right, and it's going to, again, you're going to write custom a custom camera order. And then the most important thing here is you want to make sure that you use this as in assemblies. So once you click on use this from in assemblies, this is where the items kind of expand a little little more into detail. This is where I'm going to be linking my expense to a actual income account. Okay, so that's the thing about having already pre-made accounts, because you can link multiple accounts for a particular item. And this is an example here. I'm linking my income account with my expense account. So in this case, right, because it's a custom camera, I don't have a clue on how much that is going to cost me, because think about it, right? A custom camera, I could buy a Nikon, I can buy a Canon, I could buy Fuji, right? I don't know what those price points for those cameras are. And each one has its own separate equipment, right? If I buy a Nikon camera, right, I need to buy the Nikon lenses. It's not going to be compatible with a Canon lens, right? And every price point is going to be different. Obviously, if you've done research before, you can compare a Nikon to a Canon to a Fuji camera, and you'll be able to tell the difference, right? Because of their price point. So in this case, I don't have a clue, because my customer can pick any of the following options that is available. Because when in this case, right, we will have obviously a book that they can look at the options of what cameras they can purchase, right? So in this case, I don't have a clue of how much it's going to cost me, okay? But I do know this is going to be a part of a cost of goods sold. And do I have a preferred vendor? In this case, I do. It's going to be a supply. But again, if you purchase all of your cameras from all different vendors, then you would not have a preferred vendor. Okay? And again, because I don't know how much it's going to cost me, then I wouldn't know how much to charge my customers, because I don't want to charge my customers under the amount, or I want to charge them over the amount. So in this case, once again, we can modify these information on the actual form itself. So you don't necessarily have to designate a specific amount in each and every single one of them. All right. So let's take a look here. Right. And okay, and we're going to create the income account. Again, it's taxable because it's an item, right? We're selling a product. And the account that we're going to associate this with would be sales, right? Because we are selling a product. Okay. So once I created the item, right? Everything looks good, right? Everything looks good. And now I'm going to go ahead and save and close. Or in this case, click OK. Okay, so now I have a custom camera item, and I have it for this right here. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create an order for my particular person, right? I'm going to create the purchase order by using that item. Now again, this is on my end, right? I have to buy or expense or incur the cost in the first place before I can bill it and have my customer pay me back. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and order this custom camera for, I believe this is for San Jose, because Maria Cruz is from San Jose. And in this case, the item I'm selecting is going to be the custom camera. All right, custom camera. I thought I put a description in here. All right, custom camera order. Right, again, you want to make sure that this is your reference number. I'm going to say 2021-1. Okay. All right, you definitely want to make sure that the PO stands out because you are going to be referencing this on to your customer's billing information. So make sure that you have that there. Okay. So here we are. So we are creating the purchase order 2021. Okay, so this will be 101. The date, again, is still February 8th. A supply, or actually February 3rd. Yep, still February 3rd. We have the PO number, and we have the custom camera available. Now, in this case, the total amount here for a supply for the custom camera, right? Oh, here for the description. Okay, I see what it is. So this one is actually Nikon dude, I can't remember this. It is custom camera Nikon D800 digital SLR. D800 digital LSR. Okay. All right, so that's what the custom camera is. So in this case, I'm giving the description a little more detail. All right, so then once I have that there, now the price point for this is going to be $1,100. Is going to be $1,100. Okay, that's how, whoa, no, I want the quantity of one camera. Excuse me, sorry. Quantity 1, and I want this, and it cost me $1,100. Okay. And again, you want to say no because, again, a custom camera isn't going to have that total amount on there, right? It's going to be customizable. And this is where it's most important because you want to make sure that you have this done. Okay? So here it tells you, who do you want to link this to? I want to link this to Maria Cruz branch opening. Okay? And once again, it doesn't show that it's billable because you haven't received the bill yet. That you're just ordering this for this particular customer. But when you do receive the item and you do receive the bill, that's where you can pass the bill along to that customer. So in this case, it cost you $1,100. Once again, thank you for your business. Actually, no, that's the, okay, so here we go. So this is same thing here. Copy. So what I'm going to do here is say that this is a custom camera Nikon digital SLR for Maria Cruz. Okay. So once everything looks good, I'm going to go ahead and save and close. Okay. And let's say the person got it and they received it, or A Supply received it. So what's going to happen is now I'm going to go ahead and say, well, I got the camera and they shipped me the bill as well. So I'm going to go ahead and say A Supply. Boom, it says you have an open purchase order for this. You click yes. You click on that exact purchase order. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Okay. So then now all the information for this option is here, right? And what's going to happen is, again, I'm going to say this happened a couple days later. Your book may say otherwise. Reference numbers, whatever the bill number is going to be. So this number could be any number, right? It's going to be whatever was written on the bill itself. Okay? And again, this, let's see. Okay, so receive item with the bill. So make it billable to Maria Cruz. Add postage expense for $18.99. Okay, so let me see. Reference number 65432. Again, for $1,000. And you have this available. Now, in this case, they actually charged you for the postage because they decided to deliver it to you, right? Or maybe you demanded that you had this sent to you as soon as possible. So in this case, we have the items, the expenses here, right? As well as the items here. Now again, your expense and your item you can link both of them onto one type of bill. Now in this case, let's take a look here because you might have to charge both your item and your expense to Maria Cruz because, hello, you paid for this item, but you want to make sure that the customer also pays for the shipping and handling. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and create that. So once again, if you notice this, right now we have an item for $1,100. And this is where I want to make sure that this is right. Right here says my customer / job is Maria Cruz, and I'm going to send the bill along. Okay? I'm going to pass the bill along so that it becomes reimbursable because I'm not going to pay for this. She is. Okay? And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click expenses, right? Because I got charged postage and delivery expense, right? For the shipping amount of $18.99. All right. Memo. Shipping. Costs. Okay. And once again, I'm going to link this once again to Maria because I'm not going to pay for it. Oops. I'm going to have Maria Cruz pay for it. Branch opening. Okay. And once again, it's billable and she belongs to the Walnut Creek location. Okay. So here I have an expense for $18.99, and I have the item, right, the camera, for $1,100. So again, because I got charged this, right, I owe now a grand total of $18.99, right? Now, I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to have Maria Cruz reimburse me for it. But hold up. Let's take a look at this before we process this. I'm given terms, right? I'm given terms of 2%, 10, net 30. So that means I have this time frame where if I make advance payment, then I can also get a discount. Now, I don't have to wait for Maria Cruz to pay me back for this, for reimbursing me for buying this camera for her. I can go ahead and make a payment and receive a discount, right, without Maria even knowing, right? Because this is my business with my vendor. So in this case, I can take advantage of a discount and not let Maria know about it and charge Maria, whatever price that I want to charge her for. Okay, so that's the thing about this too, is you're, again, as a vendor, you want to take advantage of any discount that you can as soon as possible and have your customer pay it full price without them knowing, because then you get a bigger profit. All right. So in this case, I can choose to pay a supply within those 10 days and then hold off until Maria actually pays me for reimbursing me for buying this camera for her. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Close. Okay, so there you go. I've already recorded the bill, so that means I'm responsible to pay a supply for whenever. But now I need to go ahead and bill Miss Maria Cruz, so then she can, be able to pay for the items that she requested from me. So I go ahead and click branch opening, and once again, you're going to get this billable time cost window, and you're going to click OK to select the items. So I click OK, and notice this. I have one expense item, and I have one item itself. And that's exactly correct, right? We're going to click on this, and yes, right? I am going to have her pay for the shipping, right? And I'm going to charge her 20% on top of that. Again, I want to make sure that I click print selected items as one item, okay? And I'm also going to click on items and say, yes, I want her to also pay for the camera itself. And then I'm going to go ahead, click OK. Now notice this, right? I go ahead and click all those items, and now I'm billing her for this. And notice this, my camera is still $1,100. That's not cool. What I have to do is, as you can see, right, the items window did not have an option for me to mark up the actual camera. So how am I supposed to go ahead and mark this up? Well, that's easy. Like I said, you're going to actually mark it up using the quick math feature, and I'm going to mark it 50%. So I'm going to charge her 50% markup because this camera is expensive. Custom orders is, we had to, take our booklet information out, have her sit there, advise her on this and that, saying this camera does this. We have to be knowledgeable about the products that we sell. So there's this, right? We have to explain what the cost, what benefits there are, what, features each camera has. We spent our time for Maria to pick and choose the camera that she wants, and we had to do the work for her, right? She used us as a middleman to go ahead and order that custom part for her, so that takes a lot of work and effort. So I'm going to charge her for doing this order for her, I'm going to mark her 50%. So in this case, we're going to use what's called the quick math feature, all right? So you're going to go under price, okay? You're going to click this amount, and in order to activate it, so right now it's at $1,100, right? in order to activate this quick math feature, use any symbol. So in this case, I'm going to be multiplying, and you're going to get a tape receipt coming up. And I want to do this by 1.5%. Okay? And then in this case, you can click enter, right? It will do it for you. And there you go. I marked her up. And now the camera price will calculate for you to be a total of $16.50, right? So I have to manually mark this up. And then it says, did you know? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Right? So here I marked up the camera manually. All right. So if you look at the options, the only options that allows to have the markup option is going to be the expense tab. Okay, nowhere else, and we'll take a look at that. You won't be able to mark up time. Obviously, how do you mark up time? Right? You can't round it up, right? You can only mark up expenses. Items are on a per item basis. And then same thing with mileage. You can't mark up mileage. Mileage is, we'll talk about that when we come back from the break, that it is already a standardized cost per gallon based on the book in the IRS. Okay, so you can't mark that up. Again, you have a purchase order number that you could link this association to. So I could say, well, this was PO 2025-101. Okay. Now notice this. We also gave Miss Maria Cruz the opportunity to also take a discount. Because we marked her up 50%, she only gets 2% discount. So therefore, she might actually only pay, 48%? That is not a big discount as a customer, right? But for us, because we marked her 50% up, right? Therefore, she's only getting a small discount on the actual selling price. Okay? So once everything looks good, right? Thank you for your business. All right, here you go. This is okay. So we go custom order, custom camera order, PO 2021 101. Okay, or and here it already tells you what the description of the actual camera was. Okay, custom camera order, or in this case, I could also say this is the Nikon, whatever it is, right? And once everything looks good, you could go ahead and save and close, because now she owes me a grand total of $18.08 and 92 cents. Right? Save and close. Oh, and make sure she's from Walnut Creek. Okay. Save and close. So that's how I can do a customized order and have the customer pay for it in advance for me. So that's why if you are looking into purchasing an actual product, you might be a little better off going to the actual manufacturing company itself, okay? Because a lot of third-party vendors, they will mark up their prices, especially things like Amazon, right? Amazon sells everything and anything, all right? Their prices are marked up. And if you actually go to the actual manufacturer itself, their prices could be comparable or more or less similar, or you can actually get a better deal on the actual website itself. So for example, like Amazon will charge you $60 for a pair of shoes, but if you go to the actual website, right, and you sign up for their, to get their, to sign up so you can be able to buy something from the actual manufacturer, they might give you an extra discount on top of that. So you might be better off going to the actual manufacturer than going through a third-party vendor such as Amazon, Walmart, Target, etc., etc. Okay? Just a little FYI there. So that is how we do a custom order. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about how we can use this as a subcontractor item. Okay. So in this case, we're going to be taking a look at videographers, right? So here we're going to take a look at a two-sided service item that we've already created, which is the photographer, and we're going to link them to an actual third-party vendor. Okay, so in this case, let's go ahead and take a look at subcontractor, or how to use a two-sided item for subcontractor expense. So once again, items and services, or you can go to list at the menu and click items list, whichever way is easier for you. And in this case, I'm going to locate my photographer, which is a service. Okay, so photographer. So here, photographer. And in this case, I'm able to double click on it and edit the information here. So once again, I have my photographer looking at the details, okay? And now down here below, I have this little section that says, do I have a preferred vendor? And in this case, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to go into the vendor section and link this to a particular person. So in this case, I have a third-party vendor called East Bay Photographers. Okay, East Bay Photographers. Now let's take a look. They cost only $75 per photographer, where in this case, I'm charging my customers $125, okay? So in this case, right, I already marked up my price accordingly. So with that being said, right, we already marked up the price. So just make sure you keep an eye on that because that's very important. So once we finally linked our vendor or our third-party person, we can go ahead and click OK. All right. So now the next step says that we're going to be entering a bill. Okay. So in this case, when we click on enter a bill, okay, we received this from East Bay Photographers. Okay. Now again, East Bay Photographers, okay, and in this case, they billed us because we had photographers. Okay, we borrowed their sets of photographers, right? These are 1099 contractors. So in this case, the billing date is fine. You can, again, that's subjective. So in this case, I have a few items that I want to put here. So make sure you're under items. I have photographers. So make sure you type it in correctly and don't choose the wrong item. So in this case, I had photographers. Okay. Description will show you right here. Now let's talk about quantity. We had 6 photographers for $75 each for the Maria Cruz branch opening. So there you go, Maria Cruz branch opening. Okay. And again, it's billable. So that means I'm going to pass the bill along to Maria. Okay. For issuing or for having 6 photographers on her branch opening. All right. And class, once again, she's from Walnut Creek. Okay. I also got billed for more photographers. Okay, photographers. Okay. And I had 15 of them, right? Work for Mr. Bob Mason. Okay. Maybe he opened his coffee shop and he had everybody take pictures for his grand opening, whatever reason. Okay. And once again, it is billable to him. And he belongs to the San Jose location. Okay. So once I have this and everything looks good on here, including the date, again, reference number is going to be whatever number that's going to be on the bill itself. Okay. $15 for Bob Mason, San Jose. And now I'm going to go ahead and click save and close. Okay, so I have 2 bills and I made them billable and I'm going to have my customers pay for it. So right now I'm getting only charged $75 per customer, per photographer, excuse me. Okay, so I click save and close. Now I'm going to move right along and I'm going to click on this invoice. And this time I'm going to go ahead and once again, we're going to bill Miss Maria Cruz. Maria Cruz branch opening. Once again, you get this window that allows you to select items. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And once again, this is another item. Okay, here you go. We're billing her for the 6 photographers. We click OK. And then I go ahead and click OK. Now notice this. My price point for her is $125. I've already marked my selling price accordingly to what it cost me. All right. So in this case, I'm going to be charging her $125 opposed to $75 that it originally cost me to do. Okay. Again, thank you for your business. All right. And the memo here is reimburse for 6 photographers. Okay. And once again, once that looks good, you can save and close. Okay. So once again, that's how you can use a subcontractor. And this one, I didn't have to link any account or link anything except for the vendor on the item list. That's it. Not difficult at all. You don't necessarily have to go to the account and link it. Again, you have that option where if you already have the person, or if you've already checked mark in time and billing that you do keep track of time and you do keep track of billable expenses, then and you also have customer/jobs, then yes, you don't need to have to go to each account and link it to a reimbursable account. Of course, it will ask you to set it up, but it's not going to. But other than that, you don't have to do that. You can just create your expense and have it billable without having to link it to that exact account. Okay. So, any questions here?
No.
Okay. So in that case, we explored the billable expenses and we also explored the billable items feature. Okay. So the next section we have here is going to be billable time. Okay. How do we keep track of time and be able to bill our customers with it? Or in this case, whatever it is. So in this case, since our company has employees, right? For any 1099 contract worker, they can keep record of their times and have the customer either pay them directly, or again, if they're contracted with us, again, we can pay them as well. All right. But for instances, let's say this particular customer wants this person to do this exact job here, right? Saying, oh, no, I don't like any of your photographers except for this guy. Then yes, then instead of you paying that employee, have the customer pay for that employee because they wanted that particular employee to work that job. Okay? So for any reasons like something that happens like that, especially as a photographer, right? You end up having conversations, you talk with them, and they feel comfortable with your services. They don't want another photographer. They want that particular person. Then yes, when you have that kind of relationship, then that's where you can have the individual bill that customer for their time because they wanted that person instead of any person that's in the office. So again, that's very typical if you go to a salon. Do you have a particular person in mind, or do you not care who's going to cut your hair? Some people know exactly who they want, okay? And that's exactly how you can be able to have that person bill that customer, right? So let's take a look at how we can use billable time features. So activating time and tracking. So in this case, we already have done that. So you don't need to do that, right? We already took a look at that in the preferences. But for any reason that in order for you to know that you have time active is that on your home page, you should see an enter times icon on your home page, okay? That means your time tracking is on, okay? So again, if it's off for any reason, you just need to go into your company preferences, click on time and expenses, and make sure you click on yes that you do keep track of time. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we actually enter in time with timesheets. So again, this is also more so kind of in territories of payroll, okay? Because this is how you can have your employees keep track of either their records or submit it to the HR and have them manually enter it into QuickBooks themselves. So in this case, usually if you have employees, they should have the capabilities to enter in their own time. Again, you could use a computer system to have a clock-in tower, whatever it means it is for you to collect that they did their time or not. Okay. So in this case, how do we enter in time? Well, pretty straightforward. What we're going to do here is we're going to go to our table here. We're going to click on this little drop-down menu. Now it's going to give you options on how you can submit time in a timesheet. So you can either choose one at a time, okay, so in this case, activate QuickBooks time, use a weekly timesheet, or enter in a single activity. So again, you could do on a day-to-day basis, or you can actually do a week-to-week basis. So in this case, I'm going to click on a week-to-week basis. All right. So in this case, when we're entering time, we want to make sure that the dates line up. In this case, we are looking at Mr. Mike Mazowski, whatever his name is, right? That's an employee into our company, and we'll get to know Mike in a few in the next couple chapters. Okay, so Mike is one of our photographers, right? So he's one of our people that we pay to be a sales representative, to market, our services, but also to be also a person who kind of manages the situation, the event, whatever. Okay. So in this case, there you go, Mike Mazowski. Okay, Mizuki, and we're gonna have to click which week in time that he's actually doing the services for. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let's see. Yeah, this is for the far on future of 2021. So unfortunately, you're going to have to spend all this time to just go all the way there. But in this case, you know what? I'm not going to follow the book. This one, I'm going to go off the book a bit. And I'm going to say it's January 21st. And I'm going to say the week of the 11th. Okay? At the end of the day, it turns out to be the same at the end of the day. Okay? So I selected the week of the 11th. So therefore, I look at my timesheet. It says Monday the 11th, Tuesday the 12th, Wednesday the 13th, Thursday the 14th, Friday the 15th. Okay? You have the whole week schedule right here. All right? And this is where I am going to be entering in everything that Mike has done. So once again, usually you should have this option available for your employees to fill out their own time schedule, or have a printable copy of the time schedule and be sent into the HR, and the HR will do this in QuickBooks, so then they can process it to do payroll. Okay. So in this case, I know that that table in your book is very, 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 very tiny. So I have it for you. Okay. I got you. So in this case, timesheets, okay, is going to be, well, what's the first thing that they did? What was the customer / job? In this case, the very, very first thing that you have here is there's nothing there, okay, because the very first thing was a staff meeting, okay? So then the next section goes, it says right here, service / items. In this case, there is no item available here. But what is the pay rate? So in this case, since Mike is an hourly regular, that's exactly what you're going to type in here. Hourly regular. Now, what are these items that we're putting in here? These are called payroll items. And we'll talk more about that actually tomorrow. Okay, because tomorrow we're going to dive into the realm of payroll. Okay, that's what that payroll item is how are you going to compensate your employee. In this case, he works an hourly and he's a regular employee. Okay, so then what is going to be the note here? You're going to go ahead and write staff meeting. Okay, now in this case, if you take a look here, right, this window says it's being billable. Now, in this case, you can't bill your own company for a staff meeting, right? They're already going to pay you. So you don't need to bill your own company to pay you for a staff meeting. They're already going to pay you because you work for the company. So you want to make sure that this option is uncheck marked, okay? And let's go ahead and put in the hours that Mr. Mike did for his staff meeting. So in this case, he did his staff meeting on Monday for 5 hours. Okay? So Monday for 5 hours. Okay? There you go, 5 hours. So then the next line item we have here is going to be Anderson Wedding. Or I guess in this case, it's just Anderson Wedding Planners. Okay? And what did he do? He did an indoor photo session. Okay? How is he going to be compensated? Same thing, hourly regular. All right, and the note we had here is going to be site photo shoot. Okay? And then let's see how many hours he contributed for the Anderson indoor wedding photo shoot. Oh, in this case, sorry, it should say wedding shoot. Okay? And let's see how many hours he contributed. So here, he did Tuesday, he did 2 hours. So Tuesday, he did 2 hours, okay? And again, you want to make sure that it's billable to Anderson Wedding Planners. All right? Then the next job he did here was for Miss Maria Cruz. Okay? So Miss Maria Cruz for the branch opening, okay? Once again, this was an outdoor photo session. Okay? Outdoor photo session. He's going to get paid hourly regular. And this one is where it says site photo shoot. Okay? And let's see what hours he contributed for Miss Maria Cruz. So on Tuesday, he completed 6 hours. Okay? And Wednesday, he did 3 hours. Okay? And then Thursday, he did 6 hours. Okay? All right, and again, it's billable to Miss Maria Cruz. Okay. Next one we have here, or the last one we have here, is going to be Mr. Bob Mason. Okay? Mason Bob. Okay. Once again, he also did an outdoor photo session, and it was hourly regular, so QuickBooks picked that up. And this is also a site photo shoot. And let's see what hours he did for Mr. Bob. So on Monday, he did 3 hours. Okay. And then, let's see, Wednesday, he did 5 hours. Okay. And then Thursday, he did 2 hours. And then Friday, he did 8 hours. Okay. So notice this, right? On Monday, he did a total of 8 hours. Tuesday, he did a total 8 hours. Wednesday, he did a total of 8 hours. Thursday, he did a total of 8 hours. And Friday, he did a total of 8 hours. So he is a regular hourly waged person that is a full-time employee because he worked his 40 hours for the week. Right? And again, once again, the first one, you're not going to be able to bill your own company for paying you for having a staff meeting, right? That's already given. While the other 3, I want to go ahead and pass along the bills to Maria Cruz for Anderson Wedding and Mr. Bob Mason. I'm gonna have them billable. Okay. So once everything looks good, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click Save and Close. Okay. So here's a little thing that your book wants to show you is that if Mr. Mike is doing this on his own timesheet, right? He's filling his own timesheet, and he wants to print it out to be able to give it to you and give it to the HR to approve of it and to go ahead and send those bills along. What you can do is you could go to File. You're going to go to Print Forms, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and click Timesheets. Okay? And then, of course, you want to make sure that you are selecting the correct date for that week. So in this case, it was for January 11th, right? And again, all the way to, there you go. There you go. You have Mike Mazowski right here. And I'm going to go ahead and preview that. And I'm not going to print it, obviously. So when I preview it, it gives me the list of the items that he did, or the person that he did, the items that he did, its hourly regular, how I paid him, and so on and so forth, and his exact timesheet here of all 8 or all 40 hours. So again, it looks just like this, okay? And he can print this out and hand it to the HR to approve of it, okay? All right, so again, this is how you can print your timesheets, etc., etc. Okay? So, again, I'm going to go ahead and click cancel because I'm not going to print it out. So now, once you've already filled your timesheet in, right? And now your job is to go ahead and process that billable time by invoicing your customer. So in this case, the example shows here that we are going to pick on Miss Maria Cruz one more time. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Create Invoice, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is for Maria Cruz branch opening. Okay? And once again, that billable time cost window shows up, and I'm going to click OK. This time, let's take a look at my categories. I have 0 expenses, I have 0 mileage, I have 0 items. However, I have a total of 3 items under time, right? Because Mike worked for Maria on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that's exactly what I'm going to mark here. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All right? And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So there you go. I'm going to bill Maria for this, right? We're going to get paid $95. Obviously, whatever amount that Mike is going to be paid for, right? In this case, this is since I had Mike bill this person for his time, that means this portion of the money is going to go towards to paying Mike for his services. but the price point obviously isn't going to, the whole entire bill itself isn't going to go to Mike. What Mike is doing is that he wants Maria to pay for his time. So whatever hourly rate that he's working us for, instead of us paying Mike for his time, he's going to have someone reimburse it for the company. Okay? So there you go. That's what it looks like. Service, and again, thank you for your business. Okay? In this case, how many hours is that? 6 plus 3 plus 6 is 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, and I'm going to say 15 hours of outdoor photo sessions. Okay. Once everything looks good, you can go ahead and save and close. All right, and then you get this window saying this credit limit has exceeded. Yes, you can ignore that, right? Because, again, it's subjective on whether you want to continue or not, okay? So that right there was billing for time, all right? Any questions there? All right, so last section I'm going to talk about before we go on break is going to be keeping track of partners or owners' time. Okay, so yes, in this case, you in this book, yes, because it's also a part of payroll or whatever, right? Your time tracking is not restricted only to your employees, right? Your owners and partners of the company can also keep track of their time, right? Especially if they're working on a large project, right? They want to know how much time did they invest in a particular project. So for example, maybe they're planning a huge grand opening, or maybe they're planning a huge event for their annual company or their big 5-year anniversary, 10-year anniversary, whatever it is, right? That is time consuming, all right? And that's exactly what a owner or a partner can do to just keep track of their time. It's not to reimburse them, okay? It's just to see how much time that they invest into the company and what project it is, all right? That's all it's used for, okay? Because if you, for this case, right, an owner or a partner of a company cannot work for the company, all right? They can do jobs in here, stuff like that. They can work or do things for the company, but they cannot put them under themselves on the payroll list, okay? That's what I mean about working for the company, is that they cannot be on the payroll list because they own the company. They don't need any reasons to justify that they did a job or not, okay? They own the company. So they can come into the office whenever they feel like, because they don't need to attend any businesses, because they have employees that they hired to do the job for them, right? So just because they own the company, that doesn't mean they have to work for the company. Got it? Now in this case, right, an owner can submit their time in and do a few odd jobs here for the company. So again, a project, planning for an event, right? The owner should have all hands into that kind of project, right? So in this case, yes, and on top of that, we mentioned that the owner doesn't get paid, right, as on payroll. That means the employee, the owner isn't responsible to have to pay into his own Social Security, right? It gets taken off automatically when he files his own taxes on a personal standpoint, right? And also as a business standpoint, right? So in that case, right, how does the owner get paid? Well, that's simple. He can take money from his own company whenever he feels like it. Okay? Same thing with partners. When we talk about partners, there's an even profit distribution, right? There's an agreement between partners. Okay, once we have profits, right, we have to make it a decision. Do you want to take the money or do you want to reinvest it? And it has to be a mutual agreement. Okay. So in this case, let's talk about how we can actually keep track of our owner's time here. So first off, we need to place our owner into the system. In this case, right, if an owner is not a vendor and an owner is not a customer, and of course, as I mentioned, that whole spiel I just said, an owner absolutely cannot be an employee. So where else do you think an owner could possibly be? Right? They would be under a list called other names. Okay? So if you go to lists and you click on others names list, okay? Because again, an owner owns the company. He's not a vendor, he's not a customer, and nor does he work for his own company. So in this case, you're going to click the owner's list here. Now, in your book, this is very funny because they decided to put someone else in here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on new other name or other names and go ahead and process a new name here. All right. So in this case, my book says, okay, that this name here that we're adding in here is going to be for Jamal. Okay, so in this case, so other names, his name is going to be Jamal. Hold on. His name is going to be Mr. Jamal Williams. Okay, that's what I thought. So Mr. Jamal Williams. Okay, so again, name here. This is what you want to see on your list. So in this case, I'm going to go refer it as last name first. So Williams, Williams, comma, Jamal. Okay. So again, company obviously is Imagine Photography. All right. This is a Mr. Okay. First name, Jamal. Last name, Williams. I think I had to put one L-I-A-M-S. Okay. Jamal Williams. Okay. In this case, there's no need for contact information because, again, he owns the company, right? You should have his personal phone number. It doesn't need to be in QuickBooks, right? You should know who you're working for and be able to know how to contact whoever you're working for. So no need to put this information in here. So I'm going to click OK. So now that Jamal Williams is in my system, now I'm going to go ahead and use the same thing that I did earlier, which is to go down here, go to enter time, and I'm going to enter in as a weekly basis. Okay? And this time I'm going to enter in Jamal Williams. Okay? Jamal Williams. And once again, same thing here. I'm not going to follow the book. I'm actually going to go to the same exact date I did here for January 11 all the way to there. And again, now I need to fill his timesheet in and what his involvement was for the company. So in this case, right, we have our timesheet here for admin, which is also known as overhead. Okay, so in this case, again, he's not going to get paid by the company. So therefore, again, customer / job, none here. Service / item, none here. In this case, the notes here is he did some admin work. Okay. And what class was it for? Again, this is subjective, whether it is if you have it or not. But in this case, because he worked for the company itself as an overall, so both San Jose and Walnut Creek, it's for both. It's for overhead. Okay. Now this is what he did for admin work through the week. he did on Monday. Okay, so on Monday, he did 3 hours. Okay, on Tuesday, he did 2 hours. On Wednesday, he did 8 hours. Okay, then Thursday, he did 9 hours. And then on Friday, he did 12 hours. Okay. And then in the next one he did here, okay, so it said again, this is made as billable. Okay, of course he's the owner of the company. He can't charge his own company. That's ridiculous. So next one, we have Maria Cruz, branch opening once again. What was the item that he service item? He did some retouching services. Okay. Okay. Notes here. Again, same thing. Retouching. Okay. And let's see how many hours he did for Miss Maria Cruz. Okay. Oh, sorry. Walnut Creek location. All right. And let's take a look at what he did for Miss Maria Cruz. Okay. He did 5 hours on Monday. Okay. And he did 6 hours on Tuesday. Okay. And then that's it. And he is going to make it billable to Miss Maria Cruz. So there you go. Now again, because it's the owner's time, there is no time frame of how many hours that he can work because he owns the company. He can come into the office whenever he feels like, and he can stay over after hours whenever he feels like, right? So again, that's his timesheet here. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Close. And once again, because we want to bill, again, Miss Maria Cruz, because in this case, right, we're having Maria Cruz pay the owner for the job. In this case, we know, in this case, this is justifiable that this person can basically get reimbursed for this particular job, because in this case, okay, there are the credit limit, okay. All right, so once again, branch opening, we're going to select the items, and under time, there's 2, right? In this case, this is a justifiable reason to be able to get paid by a customer because you contributed to the job itself, right? This is, in other words, saying that this validates that the owner can get paid or can be reimbursed for this particular job. Because yes, even though the owner owns the company, this is an aspect of, this gives them, the owner, the reason to get paid, okay? Now, in most cases, sometimes the owner or the partner is not willing to take any money from the company for any reason. But again, they can take profits whenever they like. Or if they want to have something like this to justify that they have the reason to take the money, instead of take it out for their own personal use, take the money to buy their car, for whatever it is, right? They can do whatever they want. It's their company. So in this sense right here, this just validates that this is a good reason to get paid for the job. And I'm going to click OK. So then again, we already charged them the particular price already. So therefore, I can go ahead and say thank you for your business. Okay. And once that everything looks good, we could go ahead and save and close. All right. Save and close. Okay. Yes, we know. Yes. Okay. All right. Any questions in regards to the whole entire time section under the billable time cost window? No? No questions at all.
Actually, can you open that bill, like, the invoice again?
Okay.
Was that the last one, the retouching? No. Because I can see that it's 880. Were were the codes for retouching both of them? The last one that you did?
This is it. This is right here. It says for retouching the photos.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I see what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does not say.
No. My
Okay, let me go to time costed real quick. Okay. This was for time.
I think it's safe because I was doing it at the same time that you were doing it, and it's giving me a different price. That's why I'm like, wait, why do I have so much money here?
Okay, give me a second. So let's see. Let's go back to Let's go back to Jamal's timesheet real quick. Okay. So here you go. Enter time here. Oops, not like this. Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Okay, so again, enter time. No, that's good. That's good. So if I go ahead, click here, and I do Jamal Williams once more again. And I do it for that time frame exactly, because it should be it right there. Jamal for the, oh, wrong date. Okay, so here we go. Maria Cruz branch opening, retouching. Billable. Okay, there you go. And I'm going to click save and close. So let's try that again. So if I go here, right, and I click on Maria Cruz branch opening, because that's exactly what I had. Oh, I might have clicked Bob Mason by accident. The credit limit, okay, yes. Okay, okay. And here it goes, the Jamal Williams right here for these two. And I'm going to click OK, and there you go, retouching for the 90.
Okay. Yeah, it's the same because I got 1,045, and then the previous one had 880. I'm like, wait, what did I do? But
Okay.
thank you so
Yeah,
much for
I
letting
think,
that.
yeah, no worries. Yes. I think it's because I think I might have pressed Bob Mason. Let's take a look. In the previous one, I have Maria Cruz. Okay, branch opening. Yeah, both of them are for Maria Cruz branch opening. But one of them is for the retouching, and then one before that was, yeah, Maria Cruz branch opening. Every single one I did was for Maria Cruz branch opening. So I don't know. That was a really weird one, but thanks for making that note right there. That yes, there it is.
Thank you very much.
So, all right. Any other questions in regards to time? Okay. So right now is exactly 10:10. Go ahead and take your 15-minute break